I'm sure you've heard the news. In 1963, the world watched in shock and disbelief as a gang of robbers pulled off the unthinkable. This gang was made up of a group of men who meticulously planned a robbery like no other. They stopped the Royal Mail train, but this was no ordinary train. This train carried the British Royal Mail, a system that was considered impenetrable and unbreakable. It carried a huge treasure, bags full of money. This money was intended for banks and large companies, making it a very tempting target. The robbers, led by the mysterious Bruce Reynolds, escaped with a massive fortune. Reynolds was the mastermind behind this daring operation, and he planned every detail with extreme care. The Great Train Robbery, as it became known, captivated the nation. No one expected anyone to be able to carry out such a daring crime. It was a story of audacity, meticulous planning, and daring execution. The gang spent months planning and training to ensure the operation's success. The robbery was carried out on a bridge in a secluded location. The robbers carefully chose this location to avoid any interference from the authorities. The robbers tampered with the signals, and the train suddenly stopped. This step was crucial to ensuring that the train would stop at the designated location. The gang members took control of the train staff without firing a single shot, then escaped with their loot and disappeared into the night, leaving behind shock and disbelief. This crime was a severe blow to public confidence in the Royal Mail system. The Great Train Robbery sent shockwaves through British society. It was a crime that seemed like it was taken from the pages of a detective novel. No one imagined that such a crime could happen in reality. The robbery exposed weaknesses in the seemingly impenetrable security system of the Royal Mail, prompting the authorities to review security procedures. And it sparked one of the largest manhunts in British history. The police were determined to catch the perpetrators and bring them to justice. The public was amazed by the audacity and meticulous planning of the robbery. This crime was a lesson in how to successfully execute a complex robbery. The story of the Great Train Robbery is a story of ambition, betrayal, and the price of freedom, as the ending wasn't happy for everyone. Some gang members were caught, while others managed to escape. A story that continues to amaze and intrigue to this day. The Great Train Robbery remains one of the most exciting crimes in British history, and continues to attract people's attention worldwide. At the heart of this daring robbery were two men, Gordon Goody, the informant, and Bruce Reynolds, the charismatic leader. They were completely different in their personalities, but they shared boundless ambition. Goody, the mysterious figure, was the mastermind of the operation, a man with extensive connections who was aware of everything going on around him. He knew how to exploit weaknesses in the system and how to gather confidential information. Goody received confidential information about large sums of money being transported by the Royal Mail train, and he knew he needed someone to carry out his plan. He knew this opportunity might not come again, so he had to choose his partner carefully. Then entered Bruce Reynolds, a well-known face in London's criminal underworld, a man with an unparalleled reputation for carrying out daring operations. Reynolds was a charming con man, brimming with confidence and a talent for assembling teams for high-risk, high-reward operations. He knew how to attract the right people and how to motivate them to achieve the goal. The two men formed an unexpected partnership, Goody the meticulous planner and Reynolds the daring executor. This partnership was built on mutual trust and respect for each other's abilities. They assembled a team of specialists, drivers, safecrackers, and muscle, each with a specific role in the plan. Each man was carefully chosen for his unique skill. The team worked in perfect harmony, each member knowing his role and performing it with precision. The plan was airtight and required precise timing and coordination. There was no room for error, as every second counted. The group set off, driven by greed and ambition, on a journey they didn't know would lead them to both triumph and despair. This journey was fraught with danger, but they were ready to face every challenge. Their individual stories, intertwined with fate and greed, became a cautionary tale, reminding us of the allure of crime and its ultimate cost. Their end was a reminder that crime doesn't pay and that justice will eventually take its course. Under the cover of darkness, the gang began to execute their plan. The night was quiet, and the sky was overcast, providing the perfect cover for their movements. Every member of the gang knew their role precisely, and they were ready to face any contingency. The date, August 8, 1963. On this day, Britain was about to witness one of the most daring crimes in its history. The location, a desolate stretch of railway near the village of Cheddington. This remote location was perfect for carrying out their plan without attracting attention. The air was thick with anticipation and anxiety. Every minute that passed increased the gang's tension, but they were determined to succeed. The robbers meticulously studied the train schedule, the crew's procedures, and the route. Every detail was scrutinized, and every possibility was considered. They left nothing to chance, as this operation required precise coordination and meticulous planning. The plan was simple in its concept, but complex in its execution. They had to overcome many obstacles and act quickly and accurately. The gang would stop the train at a predetermined location, take control of the crew, and then escape with the money. This was the first step in a series of precise moves. The robbers, disguised and armed, waited patiently for their turn. They knew that any mistake could cost them everything. As the train approached, a signal light turned red, and the confused driver stopped the train. He didn't know that this was part of the gang's plan. The robbers stormed the driver's cabin and took control of the driver and his crew. This was a crucial moment, as they had to act quickly before the crew could send any distress signals. The train, now under their control, was moved a short distance along the railway. They knew exactly where they were going. At a prearranged location, they detached the high-value carriage and drove it to a nearby bridge, where trucks were waiting to receive the loot. This was the final step in their daring plan. The gang, working with high efficiency, unloaded the mailbags and disappeared into the night, leaving behind a scene of chaos and disbelief. This operation was one of the most daring robberies in history, and will remain etched in memories for years to come. Following the successful robbery, the gang retreated to a safe house, Leatherslade Farm, a secluded property far from the scene of the crime. There, they celebrated their daring victory and began the arduous task of counting their loot. The atmosphere in the hideout was a mix of euphoria and paranoia. The robbers, fueled by adrenaline and champagne, reveled in their newfound wealth. They took pictures with their loot and played Monopoly with stacks of stolen cash. But beneath the surface of celebration, cracks began to appear in their camaraderie. The pressure of the crime and the constant fear of discovery weighed heavily on them. Suspicions arose, loyalties were tested. The robbers, once united by a common goal, now eyed each other with distrust. The pressure cooker of their secret was about to explode. As days turned into weeks, the thrill of the robbery faded, and reality began to set in. The robbers realized they were living on borrowed time. With the police investigation closing in, their carefully constructed world began to crumble around them, and their once perfect hideout became a prison of paranoia and fear.